So I just want to make a commentary, just a short commentary about TikTok's algorithm censorship. So I tried to post this yesterday, and TikTok only allowed it to be up for about 2 or 3 hours before they removed it, saying they removed it because it was inauthentic and, transgressed community guidelines. What are those guidelines? One has to ask. Well, you can't speak to a human, so you have to look it through why they don't like it. And really, I'd have to say either I noticed that TikTok has a lot more relaxed censorship in some ways than YouTube, where I have done most of my content. YouTube is quite extreme, and they don't like anti-imperialist stuff. TikTok seems to allow some, but not others. Apparently, you're not allowed to say how the war in Ukraine is progressing. Factually, it is looking very much like Russia is going to be victorious, if you can use that word, in a few months. But you're not allowed to say that. But I think one of the reasons this video is problematic for TikTok is because, and I might stop it here because they'll probably have a problem with me even talking about this video, but it's probably because it has the word, now I'm going to have to use code because we're children now and we can't use the actual word anymore. We can't actually talk about NAZIs or FASCISM. Can't talk about that because it's verboten. So, I'll just read what I wrote in my comments section on YouTube. And by the way, YouTube allowed me to put up that video, but at the same time, YouTube suppresses me so much that usually I only get between 24 and 100 views on YouTube, even though I've got about 1,700 people on there. Most of the people on my YouTube channel don't see what I post, let alone anybody else. But on TikTok, I get a lot more engagement. But they won't allow things like mentioning real situations where there's NAZIS or FASCISM. They won't allow you to talk about that. So it's truly we're just so infantilized and sort of suppressed to the nth degree today that you can't even, NAZIs don't talk about NAZISM. They don't talk about that. They don't call themselves FASCISTS. They don't call themselves that. It's people that aren't that who talk about that. That's what's so ridiculous. Anyway, let me just read what I wrote in my comments section. So TikTok wouldn't let me post this. They removed it and said it was inauthentic and misleading. There's nothing fake about this information. Maybe it's inconvenient, but it's not fake. For the few hours it was posted on TikTok, it got a lot of views and engagement or whatever. YouTube allows it, but only lets 24 people see it. I think it's because the word NAZIS is used in it. So once again, we're not allowed to talk about FASCISM or use the word NAZI, even though NAZIS don't really use the word, nor use the word FASCISM. So we all have to use stupid code words or spell it out like me, because social media platforms, who are often run by capitalists or people who are just totally fine with wars and imperialism, we have to submit to that narrative and never challenge it. And the other thing is that because they're interested in lots and lots of money, they don't want to hire humans to actually do checkups on flagged videos, because that would require, I'm sure they do use some humans, but they'd need a lot more to be able to deal with the flagged videos, whether they're flagged in a bad faith way or a good faith way. So, it's all about capitalism once again, where, they're too lazy to spend money for actual people to be on staff to do this. So we're victims basically of censorship, through algorithms and capitalism once again. It's just such a SHIT show. And to be a grown adult and have to speak in code words. The amount of people I've seen who have big channels that have to sort of give descriptions of what they're talking about. What do I have to start referring to NAZIs as well-dressed military people who wear boss uniforms with little lightning insignia on their collars. I mean, is this where we are now, where we have to use these stupid code like we're children? Anyway, it's just really disappointing, because that video, you can see it on my YouTube channel. The link is in the description of my YouTube channel. It was actually a very good video by an ex-CIA agent about how Russia is prevailing in the Ukraine, and also and about the NAZIs, the strong and current situation there with NAZIs in the Azov Battalion and other parts of the military, and how that is a real problem. I'm not saying that every Ukrainian is an NAZI, just saying that is a problem there, and that the West is funding that. I mean, these are facts, and people will find that out in the future. Of course, now is the time for people to find out those facts, so that we know in the West what we are funding. But we're so propagandized in the West, particularly in the United States, that this and then allows for the manufacture of consent, as Noam Chomsky calls it, to continue on these wars. I mean, this is the problem. And these are very dangerous, because these countries are nuclear powered, great nuclear powers, and it could lead to a mushroom cloud for all of us. That's why it's so important to talk about it. There's also a rising FAS CISM in the world, and if we don't talk about it, I mean, when are we allowed to talk about it? When we basically all countries have FAS CISTS, when we all have these leaders? I mean, really and truly. So it's just this so sad and pathetic to be in a situation like this, where the town square is so heavily monitored, and that these propaganda narratives are allowed to proliferate. And when you try and point out factual stuff, it's called inauthentic and fake, and that you don't even get to talk to a human about it. Algorithms decide what actual news, real news, we're going to hear, or how much propaganda we're going to have shoved down our throat.